Okay, welcome everyone to another PyLadies event. My name is Öykü and I have Shimna here with me, and we will be presenting the community announcements. And this is our first time presenting, so we'll try to be better with this in the upcoming events, I hope. So this is our agenda. We have an introduction, couple introductions, community announcements, and we will have our sponsor Plan D speaking. And we have two talks. Tamara will talk about modeling mental hops from one world to the next with NLP and Python. And we will have 10 minutes break. And afterwards, Rana, I hope I'm presenting correctly, have to be a good reviewer, be honest, nice, and a badass. And after that, we have a raffle from Offersen and socializing. PyLadies is actually not just in Berlin. We are around the world in many continents and many countries. And currently we have almost 60,000 members in over 30 countries and 74 cities. Our mission is to promote, educate, and advance a diverse Python community through outreach and education, conference events, and social gatherings. And we aim to provide a friendly support network for gender minorities and a bridge to larger Python world. And we are PyLadies Berlin. We founded in 2013 and roughly 2,000 members. And in Germany, we have 6 chapters and growing. And about Berlin chapter, we have regular monthly meetups, events like this, and sometimes full-day workshops. We set up events to get started with coding. We also have like summer events sometimes, and we connect people to companies, and we try to make everything happen if we can dream them. Is it for you, or
I could help you with that. So I get to see some really good upcoming things for us. So we begin right here at the right with some events that are gonna come that is not from us PyLadies, but are very interesting things coming up for the community that we thought that you would be interested in. So, for example, we have Python user groups that are going to have an event on Thursday, the Women's Code Summer Picnic Social, that seems pretty exciting. So it's on Saturday, and Women's Tech Berlin Roundtable that is going to be happening on Thursday the 20th. For us, the PyLadies, we have something coming up in August that is Scikit-Learn Hack Night. And we'll post more information like you knew about this one. We'll post on social media. We'll post on our Slack channel and all those things so you can get more information as we have everything set up for you. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you. We also have an upcoming Hamburg event. It's Let's Contribute to Pandas and Getting Started with Python again. You're welcome to join us there too. And PyLadies community is open to all. You can get involved, and you can be in the organizers team like us, and you can meet new people, companies, and develop your presentation skills like I'm trying right now. And you can lead the community as well with us. Our next organization meeting is on Monday 4th on September, and we have a Slack channel. You can also follow us there to involve more. To join our Slack channel, you can scan this QR code, and you can sign up and accept the invitation and join City Berlin. You can also browse other channels. We try to open a new channel for each event, monthly event. And you can also create your own PyLadies avatar, something like this. And we have a raffle. I think you know more about that.
Yes. So today we have a raffle, and we are very glad that our sponsor Offersen is going to be raffling a book for us. We ask everybody to participate because it's something exciting. Everybody likes to receive some raffle or something cool. So please scan this code, and I'll leave here for a second so everybody can do so. And it just asks for your name and some simple information like your email. And then we can get this cool book. Just the only thing is that for you to collect the book, you need to be here today. So sorry for the people online, but we're very, very excited. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My beautiful face. Okay, so for our code of conduct, we want to be an inclusive place, and we want to open a space so everybody can feel comfortable to share and feel included. That means please be conscious of how you treat other people, not only here, but in our Slack channels. And just be nice. I guess everybody here is very nice. So we're just counting on that so we can make sure that our community is amazing, okay? We are taking pictures throughout this event to publish and make people know that we're here and we are awesome. So if you are not comfortable with that, please let us know. We have Jessica here, me, and Oiki. Awesome.
If you don't want to be in the if you don't want to be in the pictures, you can raise your hand right now so we can know. Okay.
Yeah, this is totally fine.
Okay, we'll be careful with that, but thank you so much for letting us know. You can see my beautiful face, so it's okay. We will actually right now have a quick introduction from Carol about our Plan D awesome host. Thank you.
I'll just is that the camera you guys are using? Hello, everybody online. Hey, everyone online and on premises. Hey, PyLadies. I'm really happy. I feel honored to have you guys here. We are now hosting this event thanks to Rana, actually. You'll guys see her later on. She'll teach you something, but she is a data scientist here at Plan D, and she is a member at PyLadies, and she came up with the idea. So we are here thanks to her tonight and able to host this. Thank you. And I'm Caroline, or Caro. I run HR here at Plan D. So this is what I do. And I thought that before we jump into the talks that you guys are probably looking forward to, we'll just give you a quick idea, like who is Plan D, like what is this company you guys are at tonight or online with tonight. But first, I'd also like to have like a little bit of a feeling about the audience. So I'm sure you guys all know. Does everybody, or who here already knows how to like code Python? Is it everybody? Like, how do you? Is it fun? What would you say is like your level of experience? Who's like a beginner, like intermediate, or more experts? Cool. I do not know it. I'm coming clean, but I'll take a little course with my colleague. And then I'm also curious, who of you is like already working with it or like working in tech kind of? Everybody, and is anybody here that's like interested to work in tech but is not doing so yet? No. That's interesting. Cool. I just wanted to get a little bit of an overview. So it's already like a diverse crowd. Cool. Yeah. So thanks for letting me get to know you guys. A little bit about what Plan D does. I'll start with that. The company has been founded about 5.5 years ago by Dirk and Sebastian. I think Sebastian just peeked in. I'm not sure. You guys see him later. So he is here tonight. And in a nutshell, we're a consulting company helping clients integrate new technologies like AI into their business models. And then that's also what drives us, I would say, like can you say share love or like passion for technology and the belief that it like can positively impact businesses and business models, but not just in terms of optimizing economic KPI, but then it could also be used to like counter or like find solutions to many like social stuff that we're encountering in today's like problems. That's what we try to incorporate in our projects too. We like measure the CO2 emissions and like how we were able to maybe lower the emissions and what we've like impacted with after or like during and after the projects that we do for clients. We also have Alex. There's a project that I like to talk about. No, he works for the NABU, so Naturschutzbund, which is like a nature protection organization here in Germany, I'd say. And they, what you guys do is that you use the AI-based analysis of like satellite images for bird sanctuaries to like kind of help that. We also have a project. The colleague that does it is not here tonight. He's sick, but he worked for a hospital, the one in Lübeck, and they tried to optimize the patient journey for the stroke patients, or like the stroke unit, using AI to like literally save lives faster. So that's pretty cool. That's also what drives us. But then I'll just from what we do business wise, I'd like to switch over to our culture too. So you kind of get a bit more of a feeling like how are we? So I think I'll start with a little story. It's about 1.5 years ago when I was in the application process here for Plan D, what kind of stuck out to me, and it still sticks with me, and amongst other things, it was what made me want to work here, is how we try to give maximum like trust and freedom to everybody working here, so they can like take full ownership of projects, and be like empowered to take full ownership of projects. So we like try to empower everybody to like keep on growing, keep on learning, which I feel like you have to do when you work in data and tech, because it just evolves so quick, and you gotta learn if you want to not lag behind everybody else. So we try to empower that and like make individually planned career paths, but it also reflects in the way that we work together. For example, today you guys are in our headquarters. No, I'm kidding. It's our only office. We just have this small office in Berlin. We're not that big. This is where we get together, where we work, but we also get together for like fun events, for board game nights, or we had a LAN party a few weeks ago. Yes, I got hooked on gaming too that night. It was fun. So we have this place where we're laughing. We have this place where we can like get together, and we like it. But then at the same time, we can all work from anywhere. Like there's no rule. We don't have like a quota, like, ooh, you got to be in the office 3 days and you can work from home 2 days. We don't want to have that, because we don't want to force rules on anybody. So we kind of give everybody who works here like the best of both worlds. And I think that is going well. We do the same with like a paid time off. I think as Dick and Sebastian set it up, when they set up the company, they were like, ooh, we want to create a company that we ourselves would apply to. And for them, that also meant the freedom and the empowering people. And this is why we also do like unlimited paid time off, because the teams kind of self-organize, and then you're not hindered whenever you want to take that extra long weekend or visit your family. So it like integrates better with your private life, hopefully. That's what we strive for, and what we do. And they have all used, I think, Anna, you worked from Spain this year. Sebastian did too. He worked from there and rode his bike. I don't know. Usually there's at least 2 bikes in the office, but today we kind of stacked them in the room, so it's nicer for you guys. But yeah, I hope that kind of gives a little bit of a feeling, like how is it to work here? And I hope that reflects tonight as well, because we're super happy that we can host this event, because when Rana first came up to me and shared the idea, I was hooked immediately, because I think that meeting new people and networking, sharing knowledge and ideas is always super important, super helpful. And then it's especially helpful if you do it like for like such a great cause, like for with PyLadies. I mean, and to do it for women or other marginalized genders, and like to encourage that even more. So it's even better, I would say. So yeah, network. If anybody wants to connect, I'm happy if you guys just shoot me a LinkedIn invite if you want to know more. But we'll also be here for the mingle and the breaks if you have any other questions. Everybody who works here, raise their hand quickly. So you guys, I can see 1, 2, 3. No, there is 2 more outside. So memorize their faces if you have any questions. If you are thirsty, if you cannot find the bathroom, if you're hungry, hit us up. We'll happily assist you guys. But you could also follow Plan D on LinkedIn, because we try to use it to share like bits and pieces of knowledge or trends or like stuff that keeps us on our toes in our daily business. So it might be interesting for you guys too. So happily follow us there. And yeah, we'll be around if you guys want to know more later. And I think, you know what, that's that's it. With that said, I hope you guys feel comfortable here. Grab whatever food and drinks outside. Help yourself. And I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more too. And yeah, enjoy. Now.
Thank you. Thank you. We're so glad for our host. Now you get to see my beautiful sweaty face again. We are gonna have Tamara talking to us, and just to make sure that everybody know, we're celebrating 10 years since her first talk to PyLadies. So round of applause, because that's awesome. So Tamara is currently wrapping up her cognitive systems master's, where she explored the intersection between cognitive science, linguistics, and machine learning and natural language processing. That's a lot of words. For the last few years. In the decade before, she worked with music tech and civil tech as a software engineer and in developer relations. Please welcome Tamara for us today.
Sign up again here now. So I'm gonna shoot. Stream now? Now? You can hear me now? Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for coming to my talk and to the PyLadies. I'm really, really happy to be here. My computer is very slow. Please bear with it. I changed the slide. Yes, there it is. Okay, so that is me. That is my LinkedIn QR code. Please use it to connect with me. I would really love to connect with everyone. I use this trick. I was at the Women in Data and AI conference, and everybody has this thing. I didn't even know it exists. Okay, so a little bit about me. It's 10 years of my first, exactly almost 10 years of my first PyLadies talk. I was there very new year. That was in 2013. I was thinking if I should move to Berlin or not. I came to be part of a startup accelerator, and I met Mei Li, and she invited me to talk about my civic tech experience. I was an activist, and I led tech teams in NGOs a long time ago. Since then, I have worked in total 13 years in the industry, and I have worked as software engineer and developer relations developer advocate mostly. Recently, I worked as a machine learning engineer for Explosion last year in the Spacey team. And since recently, the last few years, I've been involved in NLP. And that big change happened as a dream come true. While the world was collapsing in the spring of 2020, I decided to make the leap and join a program I really wanted to join since 2014, and I really want to tell you about this program now. That program is called Cognitive Systems. It's a master's program, and it focuses on computational linguistics, machine learning, and as they call it, knowledge representation and reasoning. So that means that while I was in this program, I had to take classes with the Embodied Cognition program, and I studied early childhood language and cognitive development. I took machine learning classes with the machine learning research group. I did declarative programming, if you've heard about it, like a logic programming, and I wrote full UI in logic programming, if anybody needs me to do that in the future. I did that with the answer set programming group. You can check out that language. And of course, many, many, many projects with my favorite computational linguistics research group. And you can see me at the end of one of those projects with my fellow colleagues. We just finished the course called Language, Vision, and Interaction, which was focusing on multimodal NLP. Yes, it was definitely, I'm so happy I got to do that. I've been waiting for it for a long time. Okay, so this project I'm going to show you today is kind of, you can think of it as representative for using technology to discover and model human behavior, much less of what you're used to hearing this last few months, this aspect of NLP that it's engineering first. This is kind of the other way around. It is more computational linguistics using NLP or the technology that we have around to answer a very theoretical question. And I will give you a very high-level overview about my research question that I had for this project, the linguistics theory. And we're going to fly through my implementation because there's really not a lot of time. And I think what we can take away at the end, or what I hope you can take away, is how we get from a very theoretical language question, how do we model something in language, to actually how to have a go at it with the technology at our disposal. And I have now a note that I will show you my academic poster, which I forgot. And there was some data there that is crucial, but I'm going to try to remember to tell it because it was a poster made for a convention showed us. It is what it is. And I will ask you some questions, and they will be like more general questions, just like how to go through my thinking process together with you. And just raise a hand and just say whatever comes to your mind. It's really nothing you have to overthink. And yes, before we go on, I just want to say hi to my 5-year-old watching at home. He has seen so many AI lectures until now. He's ready for this one too. Okay, here's my research question. And so before I talk to you about the research question, I want to frame this a little bit. What am I talking about? Where is this research question based? Has anybody played Wordle? Can you raise your hand? Okay, it's most of the room. I'm going to still say what it is. So Wordle was a game that was really popular 2 years ago. I know that some people are still playing it actively. So you go online and there is the word of the day. And there are like 6 tries, I think, as much as here. And you have to guess the word. And now there are many differences to my Wordle version. And I'm going to come there to talk about it. I guess people can't see me like that. Listen to me now. Okay, so normal Wordle, the original Wordle doesn't have a prompt like this. And you play by yourself. Now, in this version of Wordle, where I'm using this research, you have first a chat, and that is because this is a collaborative. Can people hear me? It's just that microphone. Sorry, I can also just stick here. So in the chat, this is because it's collaborative. So 2 players play this Wordle, and the interesting thing is that they have to discuss what they want to enter before they enter it, and they have to enter it at the same time. In the middle, you can see the Wordle, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 tries. And you right letter, wrong place. Gray is not there, you said guess the wrong letter in total. And if it's green letter, you have right place, right letter. And here you have an image, that's your prompt. And the word that you two need to guess is either implicitly or explicitly based on this image. You have to discuss that. Okay, I'm gonna come back here, I guess, so people can see me. And this is based on a server called Slark. At the end, I have prepared like a web page on my website where you have all the links and papers I'm going to mention. And there will be also this paper from the research group where they have many similar bots and how they're made if you're just interested. Okay, so keep this Wordle in mind. And this is my research question. Is an automatic supply of this image term pairs separable by difficulty and eliciting the right type of dialogue between the players possible? And this question came to be because the research group handcrafted a few pairs for this image and you can see here for this image and word, and they were sometimes too difficult. So people would be disengaged, would either not communicate or will revert to what is called letter placement strategies. Where do we put the C? Where do we put the D? Which is not the type of dialogue that we want people to have. I will talk about this later in the theory section. Or they would be too easy. If it's too easy, you just get it. It's a dog. It's a dog. Let's guess a dog. And that doesn't work. So the words have to be infinite, so we can have they can collect as many data as possible. And they have to be separable by difficulty, so we can pick the right type of difficulty to elicit the right type of dialogue. And besides this, my other 2 questions were, even if I find this ideal, difficulty measurable, infinite amount of despairs, are they eliciting the right type of dialogue? And what from this I can use to model generative AI bot, but I will talk about this a bit later. Okay, so in the next section is the theory section, and we'll go through the theory of why this collaboration of the people with this game is important. What is the right type of dialogue here, and what will we do with the collected dialogues? What are they going to be used for? And before we start, can anyone say what do you think a dialogue is? Just your first definition that comes to your mind. What's a dialogue? Two people talking. Okay. That is a good definition. We don't have time. I have to continue. Just one definition suffices. Okay, these are the two definitions I got from just the first thing that came out of the internet, so I didn't want to do the academic kind of definitions. First from Merriam-Webster and second from Cambridge. And the first one is an exchange of ideas and opinions. And the second one is a serious exchange of opinion, especially among people or groups that disagree. And now the common denominator between these two, and of course between what we got now from the audience, is that there is an exchange happening. Two people are going through worldview adjustment, and especially this comes clear when you see that two people are disagreeing. If they have to agree, they have to adjust their worldviews. And this gets us to something called the dialogue second track, or Herbert Clark's model of dialogue. And why am I showing you this? Because I didn't come up with this project by myself. I got it from a list from my supervisor at the university. And so in order to understand why he had it there, we kind of have to understand what his influences were. And so his influence about this starts with Herbert Clark's model of dialogue. And at the center of Herbert Clark's model of dialogue is the reaching of common ground. So that is the aspiration of every conversation, for both of us to reach common ground. And one can find traces of this even in those simple definitions that we had from the dictionaries and any other way that you think about dialogue. When we think about two people conversing, they go through constant worldview negotiation, as it said. They coordinate with each other. The coordination has to be there until they reach a good enough common ground. It doesn't have to be perfect. And according to Clark, this negotiation happens on a so-called secondary track. It's not always explicit. It can be implicit and less visible. If we want to get insight in this negotiation, if we want to make it explicit, we need to make the secondary track more prominent. So we need to make this negotiation happen where we can see it. And this is from a paper that is there, I will provide it, where it says that we can only make this by making mutual understanding an explicit goal for the two people discussing. And this is where something called agreement games comes into play. The agreement games offer this possibility. And those are games where two participants solve a task together by negotiating and agreeing on an answer before entering it, which is the Wordle. This is an agreement game. Two people have to agree on something. So they have to externalize and make this negotiation explicit. It will be documented in the dialogue they have. So now we know why it's collaborative. So because it needs to be an agreement game, we need to externalize the second track. Another thing that I mentioned earlier is that not all dialogue is equally valuable for the modeling later. And for my specific purpose, I need to get insight into people's decision-making process, how they negotiate. So I need people to discuss about the semantic properties of a term, of a meaning of a term. And this means that, for example, when they see the image, I would like them to discuss about the what's in the image, what kind of concepts, what's going on in the image, or how to call someone in the image, or how to place something in this wider context of an image, instead of, as I said, this letter placement strategies. So I need to have pairs that don't overwhelm them, don't underwhelm them. They're actually making them interested to look into the image, and it cannot be straightforward. Okay, so this paper I have there, if you're interested, is defining word meaning negotiation sequences. And this is a type of example of this kind of exchange, if you want to define it more formally linguistically. I'll also add it at the end, you can take a look. Now, why am I doing all this? Like, I'm modeling dialogues and people and images and so on. And why do we need this insight? Well, we need a dialogue about the decision-making processes of participants. Now, you can see here it says that the insights into the decision-making process of participants can bring us closer to natural language explanation or natural language explainability. And how so? So this project fits into a wider framework that the research group is working. It's in their forefront of what they're doing right now. And the goal is to be able to question a model about in a natural language way, why, ask why, and you get an answer in a natural language moment that brings insight into how the model reasons about a specific decision. And when you look at this project, we would do this by documenting many times how people do this, and then this will go into the wider framework or feeding this, training a model that can learn from this to express itself in this way. Now, I'm not the only person working on this. There are other students working on more explicit reasoning goals. And once all of this is combined in some way, this could potentially work. That we'll see. So there is some previous similar work that is focused on entailment that I looked when I explored how I can model this. I will talk about this at the end. But if you're interested in, you can. They modeled entailment explanations in natural language, and it was pretty okay what they came up with. So if you're wondering about the practicalities of how would we model a model that does this, I will talk about what we do with the generated dialogues at the very end. So I have to bear with me until then. Okay, so this is my approach of my research question. Now, so can you ask me at the end? Do you mind?
So you talk about natural language. Do you mean the natural language words or Wordle, or also the expressions like
general? No, yeah, language as general. Yes, I guess you can also ask me. I don't mind. I just don't want to be going over the time. I am fine with this also, but yeah, I'm worried that I'm already talking too much. Okay, so this is a question for you again. Now, my main research question is to model an infinite amount of this image word pairs. But now I'm going to ask you something this more contained in like a smaller, how do I say, not so broad, but like would you model how many mental hops are from a word to a word? Imagine like if I say frog, how would you model mathematically or otherwise or technologically, however you think, how would you get from a frog to a pond? For example, how many hops we would need to get to there? And this is a very subjective thing. Okay. And how would you express this, for example? How would you try to model this in a way the computer can get? I'm not asking to solve this. Just anything, if anything comes to your mind. That is a very good suggestion. Okay, I have to. Sorry, I have to repeat it. Cosine similarity, and Marielle said frog habitat. No, yes, pond. Which those are 3 hops. Okay, so cosine similarity and this both are very good suggestions, and I will show you some of the. There's one more. Yes. Okay. Cool. I will show some of the ways that we can do this. My computer collaborates. Okay. Sorry if I'm cutting everything out. I'm so worried about the time going over. Okay. So these are a few things that I came up with while I was researching this. And one is one way you could imagine to grab a few people and ask them, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when I say frog? And then you document this. And then what is the next thing that comes? As Maria said, okay, what is, I don't know, maybe somebody says green, but maybe somebody says pond. It's really subjective. And some people did this and created a word associations data set. So if you ever need to do this, this is a great data set to use. For me, why I didn't use this data set at the end is because my pairs are based in an image, explicitly or implicitly, and the first thing that people think when there's a word isolated without my image might be very far from my image, and it wasn't working that great, so this is why I didn't use it. And then are the word embeddings, word vectors, as Laura said, or cosine similarity, which we use to assess similarity between 2 vectors. And if you don't know what embeddings are learned representation from text for text, where words that have the same meaning have a similar representation, meaning similar in the vector space, but you would use something like cosine similarity to check how close they are. And maybe you have heard this when you could use vectors for example, queen. You can do queen minus woman plus man, and you would get a king. I think that was like that. This is and how they got programmed like this is because they were trained on large amount of context, very, very large amount of context, where this appeared over and over again. So these vectors could be made. The third one is something I tried. I tried to do a very linguistics custom approach, and I got, for each word I got synonyms, hypernyms. Synonyms are words you can call the same thing differently. Hypernyms are the parent word, like animal is to a frog, and related other linguistic categories. And then I tried to do custom scorings and me to be the mental hops queen and assigning how much it would cost. It was interesting, but not very automatic. Then there are knowledge graphs, and somebody is not aware what knowledge graphs are. There's a collection of interlinked descriptions of entities that put data into context. You can imagine like of a graph of like enormous nodes that are connected to each other going on all sides, and they can put data very nice into context, especially entities and how they connect. Now I use the knowledge graph, and there's a few reasons about this, but I'm going to talk to you when I present my knowledge graph. I use ConceptNet. Does anybody know what's ConceptNet? ConceptNet was a knowledge graph made a long time ago when common sense knowledge was still a big question. It still is. How to insert common sense knowledge into models so they can have this knowledge that you know as human. They created this very large knowledge bases. This is a time where they were creating the WordNet as well, and so on. And this was supposed to be something you would insert in your models so they can have a more human-like understanding of the world. This doesn't work that well, but these graphs are there. And I really like them because they have much more different varied resources in them than just BERT embeddings. And a lot of it is humans entered it, which changes a lot for me. But word embeddings work equally fine. It's not the approach I chose. And also this was really easy. They have an API. Okay. So my question wasn't exactly to mental model one word to the next, although I made my presentation like this. Just wanted to keep the scope because this is not so catchy. But my question was, how would you model how many mental hops are there from concepts grounded explicitly or implicitly in an image to a word? Now this makes it a bit like, okay, how would you actually do it? This is the only thing I had to start. I had just this question. There was nothing. I had nothing else. And I was like, okay, now what do I do? So I did this, and it's a lot. And I'm gonna move over there again. How do I do this? Hear me? So
Stand where you want to stand, and then I'll.
Here, like this. Can I stand? Or I guess I can put this a little bit.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds.
Yes. Okay. So. Oh. There is some. Okay, so I break. Oh, what is going on? Better? Yes. Oh, okay. It's fine. Okay. Sorry, everyone. Okay, so what I had to start with were just images. And I used ImageNet just because it was suggested to me and it's so easy. If anybody has not seen ImageNet before, ImageNet is a data set that is very popular, very old, used for computer vision for classification. Has very boring images, but you could take any other image data set and use it, replace ImageNet there. What's cool about the ImageNet, it has something called synset category, which is the semantic category that describes those images, which means that it can be used as a label for the classification, like they're all labeled dog or the specific type of dog. This is what the synset is there. And I started first with just taking this synset, and there is an index where you can turn it into a word. and I tried to model just based on that word, but the direct category is very obvious because this is used for classification, and it was really easy to guess, and I have got very boring pairs. And then I said, okay, I really need to know more about this image, and there is no more about this image. What do? I use something called image captioning, and these are models where you can just take an image and it will give you one sentence of its caption. And I'm gonna just do this for a second. We'll talk about this. If you are wondering about how to start learning about the modalities that NLP has, text and vision and so on, I really, really recommend looking at an image captioning system, because these are older systems, but they still have the attention of transformers, where they're also really great for understanding it, because you can see here there's the attention of the image combined with the sentence and how it all gets combined. And this is from a tutorial I didn't make, but I learned from 2 years ago or so. And I linked it at the end. I have a whole page of these, and just really recommend it. Just reading it through it if you don't have to code all the things. Okay, let's go back. So I used one of these, and I got a caption. The captions are most of the time correct, sometimes hallucinating, and you will see now how they hallucinate. And from this caption, it was one sentence, like for example, a beach, snake on a beach, something like this. I will take out the nouns because Wordle only wants nouns, and I will singularize them, which means I use a library for this. I did it myself. The library takes the lemma of the word, which is the core of the word, and adds the appropriate ending of it, make it plural or singular. So I singularize them like this. And then I created a unique vocabulary combined with a syn set category. And this was just a string of nouns and words that appeared very often among many of those images. Oh, yes, I have to go to the next one. And then what I did is for each of these words in my dictionary, vocabulary, sorry, I went and retrieved the related words for that noun from ConceptNet. Then I realized that a lot of words slip that they have double meaning, and I don't want them, which I have to do a profanity check and a cleanup. Always do a profanity check. I don't know how this kind of terms are there. And so then I use the API from ConceptNet for each word from my vocabulary and its related word, getting the value of how much they are related and score them for relatedness that was in this knowledge base. And this is going to translate to my difficulty, and I will explain how. And then I generated an enormous list from these things. There is a term, there's related terms, and they're all related to an image. So an image knows which are the own terms. And now then I have a script that creates these pairs. And you can adjust the script for difficulty. Difficulty just means passing values for how much of them, how much they need to be related. Now, the relatedness is a number from 0 to 1. 1 is the same word, basically. 0 is non-related at all. And I have values from, I don't want to use the direct mapping. It's very boring. Everybody will guess it immediately, and I will show you why. So I excluded anything that is a 1. And from 0.99 to 0.69 seem to be the ideal one that sparks conversation. And anything under 0.69, it's too difficult. And I will show you pairs now, so you will see how that. And I use corpus frequency. Additionally, corpus frequency is how many times a word appears in a corpus. And I have I use a very wide, big collection of corpora for this. And I limit this 1 appearance per million words. Anything else, it's archaic, very special English, let's say, very special educated English. And it will just make it unnecessarily difficult. And yes, I already said what I do with exclude direct mapping. And this creates preliminary pairs. Now, preliminary pairs were great. The thing is, ImageNet has some very strange images. Even in my 2012 subset, they were not safe for work images a lot. Kids with guns, I don't know, blood in bathtubs, and it just, no, I'm not gonna, succumb people playing this game to these kinds of things. And I realized, yes, I can get captions, but the captions do not capture the real essence of this image. And sometimes it's gore that I just don't want anyone to see. So my husband actually helped me, wrote me a UI. We're both software engineers. Very grateful for this. And so in this UI, custom UI, I can do the annotation. And what I do is I pick one image for each term. And this had many, many iterations. First, I had just one image, one term. Then I had combinations. And then at the end, we did, because there is a relationship, many images relate to one term, many terms relate to one image. Right now, this looks like this. I guess I will have to drag this over there. Just a second. I'm running 3 React instances on my computer, and it's so slow. So I can't see what I'm doing. Is it there? No. There is a glare, so I can't see where to click. Oh my God. I want to click on the first tab, but I don't know if I'm there. Am I there? Oh my God. Okay. So here? No, I can't see. Okay, now I can see. Yes. Please. Yes. Okay, so this is the easy. This is the one. As you can see, there's the word beach, and there's the beach. I think it will maybe take you 2 times to coordinate with your friend playing, and you're going to guess it. And I don't want that. It's really easy. And here by UI, I can have pick good pair, do not use pair, because some pairs are atrocious, and do not use image and do not use word, but that's... I can talk about creating this UI annotation tool that I did. It's taking a long time. Okay, here's an ideal one I'm going to show you. And oh, yes. How do I do this now?
You just jump into the streaming, screen, and then share. Would share a whole.
That's for my whole screen. Oh, and sorry everyone for this screen 2, I suppose.
Does it not give you any?
No, doesn't give me, but this one. Yes. Okay. Now people can see it. Sorry, people. You can see it, yeah? Okay, so you can see the ideal one, the 0.99 to 0.69. It's Flame, related to the fire engine. And it's not explicit. There will be a fire engine. You might get an F. You might think fires, I don't know, whatever you're going to think about. But Flame is going to need you a few more hops to think about it. And you might have to coordinate. And I'm going to show you the hallucinations of this. Do you see what it thinks it's fire, flame, and this? And it sometimes guesses, but why does it think all these things are related to flame? I don't know. So you need this UI to kind of make a good pair. This reduces the automatic, but I'm not influencing what the machine says. I'm just picking better what the machine has done. Okay, and there's now you can see a hard one. This is, and you can see there's 2 different birds. They are avians, but how many hops it's going to take you to get to avians? Many, many, many. To me, for sure. I will probably not get it immediately, at least that's what I think. Okay. Back. Okay, and then this creates the final pairs, and I have 3 lists of this, and they people are going to play this. Okay, these were the examples. Did I show you? I forgot I have a slide for this. Okay, so what's next is the end of the presentations. Now people are going to play it. There's a thing called Amazon Mechanical Turk. I think you've heard about it. The ethical considerations of this are a big deal. I don't get to pick this. The university gets to pick this. It goes...
Tamara, you need to share again.
Why? This is not working? Me?
I still see your fire engine.
Oh, man. Okay. I don't have any. I'm not gonna diverge from.
Yeah, maybe just go back to that.
Yes.
Slide.
Yes. I'm not gonna diverge from it anymore. It's the end of the presentation. I've been speaking enough. Okay, so there is the people are gonna play. So what this is a crowdsourcing platform. I'm going to put this online, this game, in a setup where they get to play easy, ideal, and difficult. So we can get a proof that this is easy, ideal, and difficult, and hopefully collect their dialogues. This is really hard, and oftentimes 50% of what you get is trash. So let's see. Then doesn't go. Nick? I moved.
Yeah.
Technology. So then I have to assess the data quality, and I will evaluate the data collected. Then I have to tweak probably this offering and the crowdsourcing platform, collect again until we start to get the dialogues we want to get. And hopefully we get them. It's one of the research questions, so I might not as well get them. And then latest part is modeling. And so the modeling goal, to be more accessible, not like solve explainability in the world, is replace a player with a bot. And so what I would do is to say a buzzword, but I'm going to train a generative model that fine-tune one existing one that's a dialogue system, and then with the information from this dialogues, and this will create a bot that will successfully be able to answer and engage similarly in the game as a human. And this is a big if. This largely depends on any generative model on the data quality, and I've trained a few of those on different kind of questions until now, like generating conclusions and so on. These are so sensitive to train, and one wrong token separation can make this not work. So let's see. We'll see. Maybe I gotta talk about it in the future again. Okay. Thank you very much. This was it. I hope you enjoyed it. This QR code is where I have all the papers, I have videos to see related on these topics if you wanna, and there is like a list of even the terms I mentioned, like embeddings. There is a really nice full explanation of it, synsets, anything. There's there. You can see it's on my website, so you can also see other things that I've done. Okay, ask me questions, please. I think I did a lot of talking. Does anybody have questions? Yes.
What model did you use for image captioning?
Oh my God, yeah, that was on my poster. I forgot my poster. Repeat the question. It's what model I use for image captioning. It's a very good model. It's actually a GPT-2 combination with something else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I tried 3, and my supervisor said, "Yeah, that's right. They chose one that is the best, so they are experts in this." You're Lisa, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So Lisa is finished the same master's as I did, so she knows what we're talking about. But I will share it with you. I'm sorry. It's a GPT-2 model, though. It's a bit older, but it works really well. If anybody is interested, I can show you the raw data of all this generations files, please.
Is that only working in English or in other languages as well?
It's working in English, but you could replace any of my sources with any other language, because the concept net is I don't know how many languages, but many hundreds. I don't know the actual number. In German, for example, it's pretty well represented there. It's one of the larger languages, so it would work. It's language agnostic at the end. If you, image captioning models actually, that might be a bit limited. But then you could use machine translation automate, like a pipeline. I can talk about it later, maybe. Yeah.
Did you consider doing image generation for image word pair modeling, like so using DALL-E or something, so you didn't have to sort your image in for appropriate images?
Yes. Yes, I actually thought about this, because then I get to have a bit more. Oh, repeat the question. Sorry, I keep forgetting. So Laura asked if I considered using image generation models. Yes, I started doing this project. It was September last year, and everything was happening at the same time then. So I have already started doing it in this way. But yeah, actually, I considered this. And one other thing I spent a while looking at was if there is a model that summarizes scenes in one word. You know, if you have been in school and they have asked you summarize this poem in one word, when it has to be the profound meaning of a poem, I wanted to find something like this that would summarize a scene and summarize my image captions, for example. Nothing like this exists. Nobody has made a model like this. But this is also a very interesting approach. I don't have any more time to try it. It is the end. Somebody else can do it. Yes, please.
I have a fun one for you. So I know you're so I know the answer to this, but what is the answer to that screen that you showed earlier?
Yes, the answer.
You want to ask the audience?
Yeah, what do you think? I was child, but it was wrong. It has to be.
Sure.
Ah, yeah, I guess I'm still there. How do I get there? With my oldest computer in the world. Yeah, that is I really love this one. People say, no, did I mess up? How do I?
back?
Oh, how about if I go like this? No. I'm sorry. The delay is. But it does. It kind of goes back, no? Why?
Keep going.
I have to be slow, otherwise it goes. Like, I'm proud of this computer surviving until now, though. So.
In a room full of tech people. That's how you technology.
Yeah, UX not my where I shine. Where is it? There we are. What do you think this word is? Let's pray Wordle. 5 characters, a noun, not these, but it has D and I, and they're wrongly placed, but it has to be there. Okay, but it's also like we're gonna take all the time of the night doing
What was
this.
the difficulty of this?
This is actually one of the more difficult images, and it's actually over my ideal goal, I think, or very close to it. It's very close. It is denim. And you will have to talk about it. And one of my instructions for the people doing this collaboratively would be think about the qualities of the objects, concepts appearing in the image. I have a lot of this kind of thing. I didn't generate them. It's the machine generating this kind of stuff here. But yeah, denim, you have to talk quite a bit. Please.
So you needed to create this, or did you already have prepared for somebody else?
Yeah, I was really lucky. I had this. I only updated one class where I changed the way the sessions run so they can be easy, ideal, and difficult. This differentiation didn't exist before. But the research group had this already. They did some preliminary research with this handcrafted pairs I mentioned before.
And how many people did need to participate so you could have enough data to create the models?
As many as possible. Oh, the question, how many people need to participate to the data? I would say 1,000 quality dialogues. But the thing is that when you fine tune a model, you don't know. It only, if you have thousands and thousands, if you have 10,000s of dialogues, only a very small portion of this data is actually going to influence your fine tuning. This is just how the models learn. It's not going to learn on the data is going to influence it. It's going to learn the most from some parts of the data. And I don't think we're going to get 1,000 from what I read about the Amazon Mechanical Turk. But even getting less, very good ones. Like I shared it with friends and family, so to say. I was limited to only share it with people that have English as their first language. Their dialogues were really good on the LDL one. But those were very motivated friends and family. So they're not people that are underpaid to do this work. Okay, I have to finish it. Ask me anything later. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tamara. It was amazing.
Thank you.
Congrats on 10 years of tenure with PyLadies Berlin. Yeah. So now we will have a short-ish break. We'll say actually 6 minutes, so until 10 past. Yeah. Just because we have another amazing speaker, so we want to respect her time as well. Who in the room is looking for a job? Put your hand up. And is there anyone in the room who is hiring? At least Caro, who I think has gone out of the room, but
we don't have a lot of those.
Sorry. Just as an indicator of like spend some of the time now and during the end to mingle, talk to each other, find out what you're working on. And if there's opportunities maybe to find a new employment, a new challenge, or a new colleague, this is a great space to do that in. And online folks, feel free to grab yourself a tea or a coffee or whatever you fancy, and we will see you at 10 past.
What do I do now? Thank you. I took so much time from everyone, I think.
You did awesome.
I would have done it.
Okay, you're live on
Okay, I know you all miss me, so I'm back. Hello. Right now we're going to be listening from Hannah. Hannah? Almost right. She's going to tell us the right way to pronounce it. And Hannah has always been passionate about technology. From high school, with a focus on mathematics, her path led her to a bachelor's degree in software engineering and a master's degree in artificial intelligence at Iran University of Science and Technology. Since February of 2021, Hannah has been working as a data scientist in a Berlin-based technology consultant, Plan D, and was the person who organized it so we could be here today. So we're very, very grateful for her work. What she likes about her work in consulting is that she not only delves that word into code, evaluates data, and deploys AI models, but can also convey her knowledge in customer meetings and internal workshops. We're very grateful for her job, and we're excited to hear from her.
Am I presenting? Great. Quick. So, just waiting some seconds. Okay, before we begin, can everyone please stand up? I know it's hard, just do it. That's really nice. Oh, that's great. You're a great audience. Thank you. So I have many questions. So also for the online persons, if they want, just reflect the answers for themselves. So anyone who wants to answer my questions with yes should still stand. If your answer is no, you can sit down. I hope it's not no, but okay. So first question, who is programming with Python like more than 1 year?
So you're programming
With Python.
with Python. Oh, yes.
Okay, more than 2 years? Also, okay, some people are setting. Cool. Who has done some code reviews or like checking others' code, just testing it? Okay, some of you are sitting, but the most of the people are still standing. That's cool. Who has got sometimes like comments that they need to argue with or had discussions, or sometimes you got some feedback that you didn't like and you didn't know how to answer them? Oh man. So for the online people, most of the people are still standing. So thank you. You can all sit down. So this is good. We are here to talk about this, like reviewing others' code, and it's hard, I know. So that's why I'm here. So first of all, hi. My name is Rana. It's actually Arun, but Hannah, I also like Hannah, so thanks. So just about myself, yes, I work here at Plan D since 2.5 years. And I actually am a senior data scientist here. What I do, I love to analyze data, get new data, just see what happens in the data exploration part. Then my team and I, we just build AI models. And we not only build the AI models, but just get them also on production. So we host them on the cloud, build the endpoints, the whole pipeline. So all the things that you think from data analyst, data scientist, data engineering, we do it here. In my real life, so when I'm not a data scientist, when I'm a normal person, I just love to sing in a choir every Tuesday. I'm passionate about board games. If someone is passionate here, just let me know. I'd love to talk about it after that. And since 1 year, I just started climbing. It's a little bit new. And especially this one, like climbing, is a little bit hard because you try something and you fail. You just fall. And you're not alone when you do it. Like everyone is watching you. So I don't know who has done that, but it's a little bit a crazy feeling because you just fall and everyone's just like, huh, you failed, and so on. But it's just like this getting up again and just trying again that gets you motivated every time. So maybe the next time you can do it. And this is one of my motivations why I'm standing here, why I'm here to talk about code reviewing. Yeah, it's a complex situation, climbing, code reviewing, I know. I will help you. What is the connection between them? So let's start with this email I got. It's small, so this is my name. And I got this email like 2 years ago. So what happened? There is still a big project at Plan D. And then I got this email, hey, you're the reviewer of this project. Okay, I was just like, cool. A project that I have never seen in my life. Great. But then I was just like, really? So you want me to review a code that I have never seen in my life? And the feelings that I had, on one side, I was just like, what is the expectation from me? What do you want me to do with this code, with this big project that I have never seen in my entire life? And the other question was, what if I make mistakes? What if I don't see the bugs? What is if we have a code on production with bugs and it's my responsibility to test the code? What should I do? So you see, this to be afraid of making wrong decisions, to fail, like this climbing that I had, just to fail in front of people. I had this, and it started 2 years ago here at Plan D. So what do we want to do today? So today we want to talk about these feelings, how to deal with them, what you have maybe on your mind. Also talk about how you can review a code. There are so many ways, so maybe you know all of them, maybe some of them are new for you. And at the end, the most important part, how to interact with other people, the most struggling one. How can I say, hey, dude, your code is bad, and it's fine that your code is bad. Let's start with the first part, dealing with yourself. So before I start, I just want to ask this. You don't need to answer, so don't be afraid to just answer me right now, but just reflect it for yourself. How was it for you the first time where you need to test another one's code or to review something? What feelings did you have? I had many feelings. I was asking myself, I don't know this project. I thought, oh man, the deadline is near. What should I do? I'm too slow. Then some parts of the code were so complex, I was just like, what should I do with this code right now? And the last thing, what if I'm wrong? So these were, maybe you share these feelings with me, maybe you say, oh, easy, I don't know, we can talk about it later. But these were my feelings that I had at the start when I was like reviewing code. Let's talk about these feelings if you don't know something. So don't forget, the only way to just learn new stuff is failure. So you need to fail, you need to fall, you need to make mistakes, and it's just the process how you do it. I know it's hard, but life is hard, so it's a part of our job as software engineers, as data scientists, to just do wrong stuff and learn from it, and it is like it is. Sometimes the deadline is really near. Believe me, I know how this is. So if the deadline is really near, don't forget there's something called communication. So even if you don't like your team, you can always communicate, I need more time, or let me know what the priority is. I will just do then the most important parts. You can always communicate. Sometimes it's hard to do this, but it's better to communicate than just have like a really bad code review and a lot of bugs. What should you do when the code is complex? Don't forget, you're the code reviewer, so if the code is complex, you need to be sure that the code should be easy to read. You're responsible for that. If the code is really written complex, you need to communicate with the repo master or whoever, just, hey, we need to simplify stuff this is also part of our job, why we are here as code reviewer. And at the end, my problem was, what if I'm wrong? What if I can't check the code? What if there are some mistakes? So my answer would be for you, what if not? So yeah, so you're here to just help, to improve. And if you don't see a bug, then you don't see it. But what if not? What if you see a bug? What if you fix something? So you're here to help. So don't forget this. Don't think that you're just an extra thing in the whole project. You're here to help. So these were like maybe some things that I figured out myself in these 2 years. But let's see how my team thinks about it. So what I actually did for this presentation, we had many Git repos, and I was just searching, how did we deal with these feelings? What were the comments? So as I said, sometimes you just don't know anything about it. So just admit that you don't remember it. Just admit that you need time for it. This helps also your other peers, your colleagues, to just know what they can do better. Sometimes you do some reviews and you're wrong. Okay, you can admit that you're wrong. You can say, oh, my bad, I thought it was something different. It's also part of this whole journey. And maybe on other times, you are right. And some other colleagues see that and say, oh man, you're right. I haven't seen this whole thing. So these are all actual historical comments from our different projects. I asked everyone if they were fine with sharing it with them. And I think these are maybe some good examples how we can deal with these feelings. Not the best ones, but maybe some good ones to just have a better team feeling in the whole project. So this was dealing with yourself. I know it's much more complex than I was just talking about it, but I like to move forward to just check how can we review a code. If you get one code, what can you do actually? So my answer is there are a lot of ways to just review a code. So you can start by just like checking for the changes. What are the actual changes that were made? You can go to the testing phases. You can go to the whole code structure. Look if the code is readable or not. And the end, also check for file and data. We will talk right now about each of them and see some examples. Maybe at the end, you can also tell me what your ways of review coding is. I would also be happy to just hear about it. These are some just these are some just things that we as a team just do, and it works somehow. So you have a code. There are some changes. What can you do with the changes? Does the code still run? Sometimes people forget to just run the whole thing. Just run it. Believe me, sometimes you get errors. The simplest thing ever. Is everything adjusted? Sometimes some part of the project is changed and people forget to change other files or also adjust the test. You as a reviewer need to be sure that everything is actually changed. This is also your responsibility. Especially when something is removed or renamed in the refactoring phases. This happens a lot. People forget to refactor maybe the name or so in the other files. And this also helps you to just track the changes in the whole project. And at the end, it's really important to record the whole changes in the change log and in the README, so everyone that is new in the project knows what is going on. Examples at Plan D that happen a lot are like leftovers from copy and pastes. Oh man, I just forget to just remove this part. Or like database versions that are a little bit older and need to be removed. These are a couple of things that happen a lot, and it's fine. You're here to find them, so the code gets ready to being a better code. So we have checked the changes. Let's go to testing. We usually use PyTests, and when you PyTest is a library, plugin library for writing tests and unit tests. So still the question, do all the tests run, yes or not? Maybe some tests will fail. What can you do else by testing the code is the format, like checking if the whole style of the code is fine. Like there are so many plugins in Python. MyPy helps you for type checkings. Flag 8 like checks how long the line is. Just the whole style, and PEP 8 like style rules that we have, they can be checked automatically and help the whole team to have a better code. You can also test for your plausible functionality of the whole things. Like sometimes you have a function, but the function doesn't work really, doesn't do the thing that you want to do. Or you have an AI model which isn't working so plausible. Then you can also have plausibility tests or checks. And at the end, most important, the code needs to be run everywhere. So it's not enough when it runs on your computer, just yeah, everyone knows that. So it's good to have a pipeline, maybe automatically CI/CD GitLab runner would help you for that. So everything is just run automatically on another server, and you are sure that everything works. This is one possibility from many. Let's see some examples here, like, test fail when you have changed something, maybe for some special IDs, and also for like format checkings, very long lines, very long files. These are things that can be checked with these plugins and just help you to have a better code format. We have checked the changes. We have checked the tests. Let's go to the code structure. So what do we mean by code structure? It's like the whole thing, how is it connected to each other? What can we check here as reviewer? Maybe we can check if something is repeated. I love using PyCharm. In PyCharm, you see repeated lines with like underlines, and you already know, oh man, this code is repeated. Then you can think to put it in another file, to put it in another function, to just wrap it up maybe, and have a better structure of the code. But what about if functions are too dependent? This is also something that is about the code structure. If some functions are too dependent, you as code reviewer can suggest to put it in one object, to put it in a separate file, to encapsulate the whole thing. This is also one thing that you can do to have a better code structure. What I love to do is to check if the code is flexible. Like what happens if I change one thing? Will everything collapse, or does it still work? So you can maybe check for more flexibility. If is something hard-coded in your code, do you have other variables that need to be added? These are things that maybe help. And at the end, have a nice structure. I mean, everyone loves structure. So where is the data? Where is the logic? Where is the server? Believe me, everyone wants to have just a clean structure so they know where they are, especially in big projects. As I said, I love flexible code, so I mostly write reviews like this. Hey, dude, this is repeated. Just please put it in a function. It's not nice like this. I mostly do it in every review and just love to find those parts. And sometimes you see files that are quite large, and you can think about to put them in separate functions, in separate objects. These are also things that help to improve the code structure. Checking the changes, checking the tests, checking the code structure, we still need to check the other stuff. Let's see what those are. Readability, everyone loves this word, yeah. So is your code readable or not? I myself love the first part. I act like a dummy, so I say I just do the stuff that is written in the README, and sometimes things just got complicated and the whole project collapsed because I just did the things that were in the README. So be sure that the README is really readable, that you have everything set up there, because anyone who wants just wanted to start from zero, they need this whole instruction. For readability, namings can help you. Like, are the function names, are the variable names, are the folder names, do they explain themselves or not? Other stuff maybe is like code explaining the code. Like, do you have enough comments, doc strings? Do you use typings for Python? Do you have explicit calls in the functions? These are all things that help you to have a more readable code. And at the end, what you can do is also give a really detailed information about the access configuration of your code. So if your code needs a password, if your code needs something that you can't put in the actual code, you need to write it really clearly where to find it. Sometimes I just see people and they just don't know where to find the password of something. Just write them where they can find the password. This will help anyone to have a more simple life, and they will love you that you have done this. Yes, I have one colleague, Yannick. He's not here right now, but he loves to just check every name of every function. So he just checks the name, and then he gives other suggestions. I think this is really important because the function names need to be explainable, and these are really good reviews that you can get from other people. And sometimes also the typings and doc strings aren't updated, so it's also for the readability important to just get these things updated. Whew, a lot of things. So changings, then the second one was testing, code structure, readability. The last one, and the most important part for me as a data scientist, is files and data. So what should you check as a reviewer? First of all, are the necessary files pushed? There are so many files that you forget to push, especially when you work with databases. Are the migration files pushed? If you have environment files, poetry logs, if you're using poetry at all, sometimes the poetry log isn't pushed. If you have sometimes metrics from AI models, they are ignored in the Git ignore, but you need them on the Git repo. Get sure that everything is pushed that you need. Are the files too big? We data scientists love to create a lot of bunch of files, pickle files, and sometimes they're like 500 megabyte. I hope that you don't like to have them in the repo, so it's good not to having them in the repo, but if you need them at the repo, you can use like plugins like Git LFS. This will link your whole data to the repo, but your whole data isn't actually in the repo, or other things that you can add in the Git attributes to just handle with these files. We data scientists have sometimes sensitive data. Please do not push them. I know we forget. A lot of times, I myself had to cherry pick the Git commits a lot of times to just get them out of the Git history, just to be sure. Don't push passwords, personal data, environment files, the actual environment files on the Git repo. And at the last thing, you can ignore all the files that you don't need in like simple .git ignore files, and you're sure that they are not tracked. For we as data scientists, Jupyter notebooks are sometimes always pushed. Be sure that you don't need to do this every time, and it's better to just ignore it. Examples here are like the data folder. Maybe you have something that is pushed into the whole repo. You don't need this if you can create this every time. And sometimes you have big pickle files that are created in every run. Just to be sure, do I really need these updates or not? This is something that is up to you, and maybe helps to have a better code in all. So we got this part. So we talked about changes. We talked about testing, code structure, readability, files, and data. I'm sure that you all have other strategies to review code. I'm happy to hear about it. These are the things that I myself try to check every time, but it depends on the project. It depends on the deadline. It depends on the change. So sometimes you just need to check maybe some special parts. You don't need to do everything all at once. And here we are at the last part, the most important part, interacting with others. Yeah, it's hard. So Just about me, I'm here in a team, in a data team. We are like, how many people? 5? Yeah, we are 5 people in the data team. And for your information, I'm the only female data scientist here. And I had the luck to have a really good team. So maybe I was lucky, but I have a great team here. And I can just tell them anything. And it's really easy to do this. I don't know in which team you are. Maybe you are just working with one person. Maybe you have an external person in your team. Maybe you work in a more like diverse team. It's different for you. But even for me, that I'm in a good team, it's not easy. It's not easy when others just review your code and tell you, dude, your code is bad. You just feel not good. And it's even harder to tell others, dude, your code is bad. So this is even harder than to just get bad reviews. So what can we do? What helps? Before I just continue, I want to stop here and ask you guys, what do you do? Do you tell others, dude, your code is bad? Or how do you react when you get this question that your code is bad? So why? So someone asked us why, so they're asking for why they would say this.
The first thing I learned was to not say your code is bad, but the code is bad, because it's not about the person. So, like, because maybe it's bad for something that they haven't done.
So just someone answered that better not to say that your code is bad, but someone else's code. Their whole code is bad, their code is bad. So it's like a passive, like saying, hey, your code is bad, but still it's better to say it directly. I love this, and I also try to do this. So
I will show example of how the code can be better, because if they knew the code could be better, they probably would not have the background.
Showing examples was another answer, like maybe answers from Stack Overflow or other sites could help and show that it helps.
Talk to them in person instead of writing it, because people might convey things differently, they might perceive things differently. It might be easier to do it in person, or better to do it in person. Maybe not easy.
Another answer was just talk in person, and I think this is also a really good point.
The best case is the test fails. When you say fail, that's fail, you don't have to say anything.
Yeah, so the other answer was if test fails, you're in the secure part.
Then you can say, oh, code is fine, it's working. But still there are, as you already pointed out, so lines are repeated, functions are not named properly, or the code convention. So this is fine. So I personally never say code is bad. I always say this thing can be done. And I'm in to read the review. So it's like my code is being reviewed by somebody else in the team. And we have nice mutual.
Okay, so if I can show it shortly for the online people, it's about like to maybe test the code and see if a test fails, and then just see how the code can be improved. But the most important part is that not talking directly to each other and try to be nice, but always try to talk about the code. It was really short what you said, sorry. I just needed to shorten this up.
I try and make sure I comment when there's good code too, so that it's not just negative comments. And I try and really express my level of confidence or preferences. So if it's a nit, I'll mark it a nit. If I'm really confident it's wrong, I'll put links to references in there. And if I'm not sure, I'll be like, it smells bad, I'm not sure what you think. So I'll try and set my preferences really clearly so people know how strongly I'm coming at them, and they don't sort of know it's always
so it was also saying nicely comments, and also tell them how confident you are about the answers. So sometimes you're confident that something is bad, and sometimes you're not sure, but you just tell them. And okay, the last ones.
So I find that being as explicit as you can or specific helps very much, because saying the code is bad, it's very vague. I now, when I rejoined the second bout of university a bit, at 30, I had to work with more younger people in the teams I had. and they were themselves just starting and being very insecure about the code they write. So if I had to review a little bit, then I could say your code is bad, then it would be a disaster. But if I say the line number or whatever could be improved, or you could think about it again because this has a much better effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also again, not saying directly your code, but maybe just passively saying it with line codes or other stuff. This helps. And the last person.
Is when mine was the opposite direction. I was receiving the feedback, right, and was right in the beginning, and it was very meaningful to me that like somebody just sit down and was like, "Have you ever heard of Pep 8?" And I was like, "No."
Okay.
And they were like, "So let me explain. This and this and this is necessary for you to do a better code. It's not that your code is bad, it's that it has certain formalities that you need to pass through. Give me some links and then show me once how to do it right, and then from then on I could apply that way." So just the patience to explain depending on the level of the person that you're reviewing for.
Got it. The last answer, nice answer, was if you get like a comment, it could be also something, a learning experience, to just give them maybe some feedback how, if they know Pep 8 or something else, they can look at it and just indirectly improve the code. Thank you all for your opinions. Sorry that I needed to just summarize them up. It would be much better if we had a microphone here. I just wanted to give the audience online also a glimpse about your answers. So I have to say, there are like great suggestions. Maybe it's better to just do a presentation about all the answers, especially the first answer. I think the second answer was about not saying your code, but saying the code is always better because the code is our code. So, and it's always better, even if it's passive, but it's better to be passive than sometimes direct. So the whole presentation is about being honest, being nice, and a badass. And here are just suggestions, but I'm sure that everyone is learning just from the daily routine. So what to do when others say, dude, your code is bad, be honest. You can admit that the code is bad. So all of us have some times that we just do some coding fast and we know it's bad. We can also admit that it's bad. It's fine. Not always, but sometimes. We can say, thank you. We can be nice. I mean, some other person just checked your code. It's nice. So why not saying thank you? It's not like I'm saying always saying thank you, but you can sometimes also thank other people, and this helps just to have a better team collaboration. And you can be a badass. I mean, you don't have to accept everything that the other says. You can also explain why you wrote something differently than it taught, and it's your right to do this, even if the explanation isn't so good. You can always give an explanation to it. How to tell others that their code is bad. Also, be honest. Criticism is fine. You're here to find bugs. You're here to find a bad code. That's why you're here. So it's fine to tell others directly, passive, how you want. It depends on you, that the code is bad, and it's a part of this whole journey, and we need to accept it. Be nice. Someone said this, I think, yeah. So say also positive things. If someone is improving, is just starting to writing code, just admit, hey, this is a nice line. I will copy this. I will just also use this. This helps a lot. And at the end, be a badass. You're here to explain. You're here to help. You're not here to make changes. You're not here to get the code, make the change, and send it back. This is the worst thing, I think, as myself, that a reviewer can do that is not part of the project, because you just take this learning experience from the other people, you just do your own stuff. Don't do this. Give them this chance to just do their own way and be the help. In general, what may help, you can always ask for clarification. I think you said this, that you can also ask, why did you do this? Or, hey, I don't understand this. Do you know about Pep 8? It's always good to get this clarification and be honest. If something is maybe a little bit complex or something is not so written well, you can ask for it. Don't forget, you're here to help. So you're the nice person, or try to be the nice person, even if the nicest thing that you do is talking about their code and not your code, is also nice still. So you're here to help. And at the end, don't forget you're here for improvements. So you don't need to think all the time. You don't need to have like bad feelings that you told someone that their code is bad. You're here for improvements. So just don't forget this. And sometimes you need to have this as an aim in your head. And it's getting sometimes hard, but it's important to also have this in mind. Just some suggestions. I just loved all the answers that all of you gave, and we can talk about them a lot. And these are just some things that I and my team, we were just talking about it. But what are some examples about it? Being honest. If you see good code, yeah, why not writing? I inspire myself of it. Or hey, I want to do this also. I just telling others that these are really actually good finds. We will do this. This gives also the other person this feeling, oh man, I'm part of this project. Be nice. Tell them that they have a very nice structure. Tell them that they have really nice changes. Believe me, if it's only this one sentence, it makes such a difference in the whole team. And be a badass. You don't need to accept everything. So you can just say, I can live with that. If you don't like it, you can deal with them. It's fine to just sometimes tell them, hey, I really don't like this, but I would do this. Deal. Let's do it. It's also a part of it. At the end, for me, I work in my team. I don't know how big your team is, but don't forget you're a team, so just have fun. So if you don't feel like writing stuff, you can laugh about the code. You can just give some smiles about the code. You can show that you're, oh man, I know it's bad. So it's also part of it. So be active. It's a part of our job. And this was the whole thing that I wanted to talk to you. So are you ready to review? I hope you got some insights or maybe just some reflects from your own, how you started, how is it right now, just to talk about it in this room together. I hope that we got some glance about our own feelings. Hey, your opinion counts. You're here for one reason. So I hope, don't forget this. Don't think that you are a small part of the project. You're a really important part, and it's important to have you in the project. We talked about different ways to review a code. I'm sure there are a lot of ways. These were some examples of it. And we talked about interacting with others. And don't forget, the whole thing is being a team, being one group, even if it's not a person. We need to work with each other, even if we don't like each other. And it's just good to have a good interaction. At the end, you may ask me, am I a good reviewer? Well, it depends. I don't know. So I'm trying to be a better reviewer every day. I got so many reviews from other people, and I just try to be better and better every day. So when I look back and at these 2 years, I just feel like, hey, I have done some good job, and I'm just improving every day. I try to be nice. I try to be honest. I try to be sometimes a badass. It's also in this part, and the most important part, I just try to fail sometimes and be fine with it, even if it hurts. It's sometimes fine to just fail, and it's also in this process. So yeah, this was about this whole presentations. If you have any questions, if you have other maybe thoughts, if you want to share how you review a code, let's do it right now. I just love to hear about it. And yeah, this was everything.
Yeah, thanks for your presentation. Love your presentation. I might see some of it. So, of the 5, let's say, focus points that you mentioned, like, how would you rank them in terms of priority if you're short for time? Because that's, like, time or lack thereof is one of the, one of the top 3 excuses for not doing a good code review.
That's true. That's true. I hate to give you this. The question was how we would rank this different review structure or functionalities, how to rank them if we don't have enough time. So I hate to give you this answer, but it depends really on your project. I myself, because I am a data scientist, I usually just check for the files and data first. I need to be sure that personal data, passwords, and so aren't pushed on Git repo on servers. This is the most important thing that you can do as a reviewer. And I myself do this readability part always. So if I need to run a code, I don't run it. I just check how is it written in the README, because this is, I think, what the actual person that was doing it just wanted from us. These two are something that I always do, and then I just only check for the changes and the test for the changes only. So this is what I do when it's really like in a really the deadline is near. It's not the best review, but then I'm sure that maybe no personal data are pushed and the changes work. Because I'm sure that the other person will check the whole pipeline at the end. So that's why. But I can't give you here an answer. It depends on a lot of things. But thank you for that question.
Specifically in ML context, how do you check feature engineering, I guess? For example, let's say in a project, people are creating only 200 features. Right? Would you actually go and look at the logic of all of that? Would you actually be willing to commit that much time into?
Yes.
How do you go around?
The question was especially for the ML models, like for feature selection and also testing these features. If you have like 200 features, what would you do for testing these features? Actually, we try to have really small branches in the Git repo. So every time some features are added, we have this whole code review thing, and to keep it small helps others to review faster. But to be honest, we always check everything before it goes on deployment. So if we have really an AI model which has 200 features, these 200 features need to be checked and tested, because we have clients as customers. We don't have own projects. We can't do so much testing on production for a client. So that's why we try to just check everything. But I think the small steps, the small review helps the best to just get these big projects tested.
How you do the challenge? So you develop something and you're testing it, and the environment of client is totally different, and scalability is totally different, and usability is totally different. How you meet this challenge?
So as I understand the question right, it was about we have our own code, but if the code is on the client server, maybe the scalability of the code and the usability of the code is different. How can we check on their side? Did I understand the question right? Okay. So what we usually do, we have different servers. So if we have like a server environment for the client, we have also a test server for the client. It's on their environment, but it's the test server for the client. So we check everything on the test server on the client before it goes to production. It's different from the dev server that you have or the test server that you have on your own server to just simulate the whole environment that you have on the other client side. But you're right, the usability is different. We had not a lot, but a couple of client requests where they said the AI model isn't working as we were expected because the environment was different. And then we actually needed to see these special cases and do workshops with the clients to see what is happening. So we have this in our process, and this happened, but I think it's in every life of an AI model that in the real world they may be different, and you need to just have these backup loops and do it over again. I think it's all in all projects like that. You can't just fully test everything, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you again, Rana. And refresh them, maybe.
So you want to be here?
I want to show the PyLadies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you. So, folks, thank you so much for that. That was fantastic. I learned a lot. I know there was a lot of people on the remote
that were also saying they learned a lot, and we need to share the slides for both talks. So please, speakers, don't let me forget. We now will have the results of the raffle. So I hope that you all took that QR code before and filled in. So drum roll, please. Congratulations, Rosamund Mather. Congratulations. So I don't actually have the book here today. We're going to post it. We're going to post it to you, I'm afraid. So Offisan can come this evening, but you will get the book. Don't worry. I think you already had to fill in your information in the form.
No, I didn't add my address. No, I had to add my email.
Okay. Okay. Well, maybe make sure I also have your email so we can ensure that gets to you. And something that we'll have coming up that we didn't mention in the opening notes was we're going to do an Ask Me Anything with Kaya, who's pictured here, who is part of the Alpha Zen team. So this will be like a career questions. You can go in there and ask anything you've been like thinking about. Alpha Zen themselves are a job platform, so that's like their specialty. The way that you can do this is join our Slack, which if you haven't joined our Slack already, highly recommend you join our Slack because that's everywhere where all of our information is, where we post about events, where we ask for help, where we share job postings, different types of opportunities. And for this one, it will be this specific, very long channel name, but very specific. So hopefully that matches the review for function name. And then you can ask your career questions. So that will run next week. It'll be like async, so you won't have an answer immediately, but you'll get an answer during the days. And we would love to hear from you. You heard from our amazing presenters for the community, Timna and I can't see where she is, but no, Uka, like I think that was their first time presenting, and they recently have been contributing. So please give them a big round of applause. Because that's what it's all about. We don't have a community without its members, and we're all doing this as volunteers. So no one here in the organ team is getting paid. So if you want to contribute, we really appreciate it. It can be however you feel fits best. If you contribute, well, actually, even if you don't contribute, you can register as a member of PyLadies. But if you do contribute to the community, you can also register as a contributing member of the Python Software Foundation, which means that you have voting power for the Python Software Board. So this is not without weight because they make a lot of decisions around the Python community. And I think you have to contribute maximum like 5 hours, 3 hours per month, right? So not a lot. We run an event pretty much once a month, and they run for about 3 hours, and there's probably about 2 hours prep. And there's all different ways you can contribute. We would also love for you to review us. So you've learned how to do reviews now. So please be a badass, be kind, and be honest. But we will be handing out some of these physical forms, and I've already posted the link for folks that are online to be able to give us some feedback about what you enjoyed about the event, what could be improved. Like I said, we're volunteers. This is how we get better. This is a way of contributing by giving us your feedback. And you also can reach out to us and get in touch. I think this QR code hopefully still works, but we have everything down the bottom here as well, if you're interested in any of the things I just mentioned. And I would just like to close with a message actually that is for our allies that are here in the room. So PyLadies, as you've heard, is a space for empowering gender minorities in tech. And we really pride ourselves in making this a space for everybody. But we really rely on everybody in the room to make that a safe space. So first of all, thank you for joining us. Second of all, thank you for being mindful of the space that you take in the greater tech world. Please continue to do that. And please continue to think of ways that you can support the community and the rest of the people in this room, because we are a minority still, 2023. And we need these spaces. They're really, really important to us. So thank you for joining, but please also recognize the privilege it is to join this space that we're creating. All right, folks, I will say goodbye to everyone online. We have maybe half an hour-ish, where you can still grab some drinks, network. Don't forget who had their hands up looking for work. Maybe you can swap ideas. One thing that we're interested in trying to do, which we tried to do recently, was also promote people on LinkedIn. So if you're looking for work and you have a post on LinkedIn, send it to us and we will repost it and amplify you through our community. Use everything you got in your power is the way I live life. So I hope you will follow suit. All right, thank you. Thanks so much for coming.